When divine timing and destiny collide, the universe sends you a message so loud that even your silence begins to understand its power. You didn't stumble upon these words by chance. This very moment has been orchestrated by a higher realm, a realm where your deepest hopes meet the sacred plan designed uniquely for your life. It is no accident that your spirit was guided here. Rather, it is the invisible hand of grace, moving pieces into place, drawing you closer to the truth of who you really are. You carry within you a spiritual signature, something that cannot be replicated, a frequency that reaches beyond human comprehension. People may call it energy, some may refer to it as your presence, others may speak of your light, but know this: what you carry within you is divinely appointed, and it is far too radiant to go unnoticed. And because of this, you've likely felt misunderstood, perhaps even isolated, not because you are lacking but because your energy overflows. Your very existence unsettles those who've yet to awaken to their purpose. It's not the way you dress, the way you speak, or even the things you do. It is the spiritual power that lives in your soul, the same power that once touched the hem of Jesus and drew healing into reality. Before we continue deeper into this revelation, I invite you to make a powerful declaration right now. Take a moment to comment below with the number 777. Not as a superstition, but as a spiritual affirmation. It is your way of announcing to heaven and earth, I am ready. Ready to walk into emotional freedom, ready to rise into financial favor, ready to step into spiritual elevation. When you type 777, you are saying, yes, I claim this word, I align my soul, and I walk by grace, not by fear. And while you're here, lock in, subscribe, like, and stay with me through the end, because this isn't just another message. This is a spiritual activation. Let's now look at what truly makes your presence so impactful that it leaves others either inspired or intimidated. You see, it's not always your talents or achievements that spark reactions in people. It's the light you carry, a light that reveals what others may still be hiding. That unwavering confidence you wear even when life throws storms your way. It shakes the ground beneath those who haven't found their own footing. The depth of your love, the way you freely give even when others take, becomes a mirror to those who haven't yet learned to love themselves. You carry an anointing that can't be explained by logic, and just like Jesus felt power leave him when a woman touched his garment, you too have a spiritual current flowing through you that touches people without a word. This current awakens, it confronts, it heals, and yes, it disrupts. Because when light enters darkness, the darkness has no choice but to react. Some people walk away from you not because you've done something wrong, but because the very air around you reminds them of what they've buried. They feel the weight of your truth because you live without apology, and in doing so, you shine a light on their compromises. Your mere presence becomes a challenge to mediocrity, a divine interruption to complacency. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out, not for fame, not for attention, but because your calling demands visibility. Heaven placed a fire inside of you that cannot be silenced by small minds or limited expectations. You were built to walk into rooms and change the temperature. You carry peace into chaos, you bring clarity into confusion, and you spark boldness in the hearts of those who have forgotten how to dream. But why do some people struggle to receive your energy? Because you reflect possibility, and that is a frightening thing to someone who's made a home in their limitations. You represent resilience in a world that profits from brokenness. You are proof that pain is not a period, but a comma in the story of victory. Your life tells a narrative that says, I have been through the fire, and I didn't just survive, I emerged refined. When you move through life with this conviction, your life becomes more than a journey, it becomes a testimony. You don't just live, you witness to what faith can build. You don't just exist, you embody the promise that grace is sufficient. You walk with an awareness that where others see impossibility, you see a stage for God's power to perform the miraculous. So hear me when I say this, you are not too much. You are not too intense. You are not too bold. You are exactly as God intended you to be, fearfully and wonderfully made, carrying the echoes of eternity within you. You are not meant to shrink to make others comfortable. You are here to expand, to grow, to rise, and to lead others into the fullness of who they are called to be. There may come a time when you feel silenced, when your inner brilliance is buried beneath layers of expectation, misunderstanding, or fear, when the pressure to conform convinces you to shrink yourself just to make those around you feel at ease. But here's a liberating truth that may shift your entire perspective. You were never created to dilute the essence of who you are simply to be palatable for others. You weren't sent here to fit neatly into the boxes others build for you, and your spirit was never meant to be folded small just to sit comfortably in someone else's limited version of reality. Your light, yes, the one that radiates from deep within, was never meant to be dimmed for the comfort of those who haven't yet learned to sit with their own shadows. If the brightness of your truth causes discomfort in others, let that be a reflection of their internal work still left undone, not a signal for you to retreat. It's not your obligation to make yourself smaller just because someone else hasn't learned to expand. On the contrary, your task is to embody the fullest expression of your soul, to rise with power and purpose, and to allow the brilliance of your being to serve as a guiding light for those still wandering in the dark. However, let's not romanticize the journey. Carrying such an immense, divine energy often draws resistance before it attracts resonance. There are moments when you may find yourself standing alone, not because you're wrong, but because your truth disrupts what's comfortable. People may whisper about you, question your intentions, or slap on labels like too much, too emotional, or too intense, as if passion, depth, or spiritual clarity were crimes in a world that celebrates surface-level calm. But history reminds us, even the most powerful souls were doubted in their time. Even Christ himself faced rejection among his own kin, his divine identity questioned by those too familiar with his earthly roots. If even the one sent to save the world was underestimated in his own hometown, how could we expect to be universally embraced for walking in our divine calling? Rejection, in truth, is often a confirmation, not a condemnation. It is a sign that you carry something so sacred, so rare, it cannot be easily understood by everyone. So let their opinions echo in the background, but do not let them shape the sculpture of your identity. Their inability to comprehend your depth is not your burden to carry. You were not made to echo mediocrity, but to disrupt the silence, to awaken sleeping hearts, and to leave a mark that speaks even when you're no longer in the room. Your presence alone is a declaration that ordinary is no longer acceptable. Every obstacle, every long night spent in tears, every painful chapter in your life story was not evidence of abandonment. It was preparation, divine shaping. Like gold refined through fire, or diamonds born through intense pressure, your trials were transforming you into a vessel of power, endurance, and radiant strength. What was once your breaking point is now your breakthrough, and that strength within you shines with such purity that some can't look your way without being reminded of their own unfulfilled potential. But do not let their discomfort sow doubt in your heart. The very essence that unsettles one person might be the same energy that brings liberation to another. Your fire can both convict and comfort. It all depends on the heart receiving it. That's the paradox of being chosen. You're not here to blend in, to fit every mold, or to be accepted by the masses. You're here to find and be found by those whose spirits align with yours, souls that will honor the truth you carry, not try to extinguish it. And when the right ones arrive, they won't try to dim your brilliance. They'll stand in awe of it. They'll mirror it. They'll amplify it. Because what God placed inside of you is not meant to be hidden, it is meant to be released. Remember what was spoken in ancient times, that before your very form was woven in the womb, your purpose had already been declared, and your uniqueness was sanctified for a higher mission. So even if your sensitivity was misunderstood or your wild imagination dismissed, know this: what was once criticized in the natural realm is honored in the spiritual realm. Your empathy is not a weakness, it is the channel through which healing flows. Your vision is not a fantasy, it is the blueprint for transformation. You were born with the tools to shift the atmosphere, to build what has never been built, and to breathe life where others only see dust. Say it aloud or write it with boldness: I am not here by accident. I am divinely crafted. I will no longer shrink to soothe others' discomfort. I will no longer dim what was meant to shine. I am chosen for such a time as this, and I am ready to rise. You're stepping into a new dimension of yourself, where your inner power is no longer hidden, where the fire inside you no longer waits for approval to burn brighter. This is the moment you declare, not just with words but with your entire being, that you are ready to embrace the magnitude of your purpose. And as you make that decision in the spirit, let the unseen realms bear witness to the unwavering faith you're now activating in full force. Pause for a second and shift your awareness, not to who you've been, but to the ripple effect your energy has on every corner of your life. It's not just about self-transformation. It's about how your elevated frequency begins to shift the atmosphere around your relationships, your finances, your future. There's a reason the adversary of your destiny attempts to convince you that your uniqueness is too loud, your presence too powerful, your truth too radical. Because if you begin to doubt the strength within you, you'll unknowingly silence the very voice that was meant to awaken nations. That lingering insecurity, that impulse to dim your light just to be more acceptable, it's been a weapon used against your own greatness. You start muting your power, apologizing for standing out, and before you know it, the momentum that once pushed you toward your highest path begins to slow. But that story is ending today. You're reclaiming what has always belonged to you: your divine authority, your full identity, and your unapologetic brilliance. You will no longer shrink for the comfort of others who haven't yet found the courage to expand. Understand this: your presence disrupts environments that are built on conformity. You command attention in a world that often fears raw authenticity. You weren't designed to blend in with the ordinary because the fire God placed in you refuses to flicker. You can't fabricate the kind of purpose that wakes you up at night with visions too big for small minds to grasp. And let's be honest, your boldness unsettles some people because it confronts their excuses. Your very existence becomes a mirror showing them what they could be if they chose to rise. Some will be inspired by you, while others will feel threatened. They will either elevate alongside you, or they'll try to drag you back down to the safety of their comfort zone. But remember the words of the prophet in Isaiah: "Arise and shine, for your light has come." This is not just poetic language, it is a divine instruction. You're being summoned to rise, not suggested. You are being commanded to reflect the glory that surrounds you. You were never meant to reduce your brilliance just to accommodate someone else's dimmed vision. It is time for full expression, with no hesitation, no filters, and certainly no apologies. Some will whisper, "You've changed." But instead of defending your evolution, ask why they remain unchanged. Growth is not a betrayal of your past, it is the evidence of life itself. If you're not stretching, you're shrinking. And right now, your calling demands expansion. Let them talk. Let them judge. Their words cannot override the blueprint heaven has already assigned to your life. Like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, you owe no explanations to those who only knew the caterpillar version of you. You are evolving, ascending, becoming. And when you begin to operate from your highest spiritual frequency, things start to shift rapidly. What once felt impossible becomes accessible. Doors that refused to open before now swing wide. People you've never met suddenly feel compelled to help fulfill the vision within you. This isn't by chance, it's divine orchestration. As Deuteronomy tells us, the blessings of God will not just visit you, they will overtake you. That means you're not begging for breakthroughs, you're walking in alignment and the favor finds you. You're not chasing what's already destined to meet you in motion. But don't expect everyone to clap when you rise. Some will be confused, even offended, by your elevation because your progress disrupts the narrative they cling to. That life is unfair and purpose is only for a chosen few. But you are living proof that destiny is activated by obedience, not favoritism. And your very existence threatens the lies they tell themselves to justify their stagnation. So don't pause to make them comfortable. Don't slow your pace to match their fear. Keep moving. Keep rising. Keep radiating that divine, unstoppable vibration that was placed inside you long before you ever doubted yourself. And if you've ever asked, "Why me, God?" the answer is clear: because no one else carries your blueprint. The assignment you hold is custom-built for the exact energy, voice, and vision that you alone bring. Your story has the power to set captives free. Your voice was designed to shake chains loose. Your creativity will shift entire industries, and some of them haven't even seen you coming yet. The book of Ephesians says we were created to do good works, prepared in advance just for us. That means you're not random. You're essential. You are irreplaceable in the grand design of this world. So if certain relationships start to dissolve, let them. If old friends fall away, don't chase. Not every bond is meant to survive your elevation. Sometimes the divine removes people not to punish them, but to protect your growth. Pruning is not punishment, it's preparation for greater fruit. And yes, it will sting. Yes, it may leave you questioning. But fear staying stuck far more than you fear letting go. Think of the eagle. It doesn't scratch in the dirt with chickens. It soars with vision and intention. You too are built to dwell in realms where others live on mission, not in circles full of gossip, envy, or disbelief. Your energy belongs in places of movement, not mediocrity. And if you feel that unmistakable pull in your spirit right now, know that it's not just motivation, it's confirmation. Something eternal is aligning with your decision to rise. Declare it, affirm it, step into it fully. Because as you do, heaven takes note. Angels begin rearranging circumstances to match the boldness of your stand. And as you live from this renewed identity, your reality transforms. Where others see setbacks, you begin to see stepping stones. What once looked like a dead end now appears as divine redirection. You speak with clarity, walk with courage, and move with a certainty that comes only from knowing who sent you and why you were sent. When you begin to live with courage instead of caution, your financial reality starts to align with that same bold spirit, unlocking new paths to abundance, unique opportunities, and once unimaginable advancements that had previously been clouded by doubt and hesitation. Fear has a subtle way of convincing you to settle, but the moment you stop giving it permission to dictate your decisions, doors open that were always meant for you but were waiting on your bravery to knock. This transformation isn't just motivational fluff. It's the very real result of stepping into the rhythm of your divine purpose, where your actions are in sync with something greater than logic and more powerful than mere strategy. And understand this, the shifts you're experiencing aren't limited to your own journey. They echo far beyond you, stretching into the lives of your children, your family, your wider community, and even touching the spirits of individuals who may never have the privilege of knowing you personally. Think about it, every bold step you take, every fear you refuse to obey, becomes a catalyst for generations to come. Just like when David confronted the giant in front of him, he wasn't merely fighting for personal survival. He was altering the trajectory of a nation, shaking loose the chains of fear that held others back, and setting into motion a legacy of courage and faith that still reverberates through time. You, too, carry that weight of generational influence. The decisions you make in boldness now will become the path someone else follows later, their map for freedom, their evidence that transformation is possible. And that's precisely why opposition shows up in your life with such intensity, because your presence is disruptive to the status quo of hopelessness and your light is offensive to darkness. Every obstacle placed in front of you is actually a distorted form of validation, a clear sign that you are stepping into territory that threatens the lies of limitation. The pushback you feel isn't a sign to quit, it's confirmation that you're a force to be reckoned with, a storm of truth and power that the enemy wants to silence before you awaken the others who've been waiting for someone to show them what's possible. Scripture reminds us to stay alert, to remain sober and watchful, because the adversary prowls like a lion, seeking someone to devour, but there is a greater lion that dwells within you, one whose roar breaks chains and shatters fear. That roaring strength doesn't come from ego or pride, but from your spiritual DNA, the power that was breathed into your soul by the Creator Himself. If you're starting to feel that rising inner certainty, a deep confidence that cannot be explained away by circumstances, that's not arrogance, that's divine assurance. It's the unshakable awareness that your life has been marked by purpose, that your table has already been prepared even in the face of those who doubt you, and that your very existence shifts the temperature of every room you enter. You weren't born to dim your light just to make others comfortable in their shadows. Your energy is meant to transform atmospheres, not shrink within them. And if you ever question how impactful your presence truly is, pay attention to the way people respond to you. Some will be drawn to your spirit, hungry for the hope you carry, while others will retreat because they fear the mirror of truth your life holds up to them. Either way, both responses confirm that you carry something rare, something divine, something undeniable. Now, take a moment and declare over your life with unwavering conviction. I am divinely empowered, deeply called, and eternally significant. My presence is purposeful. My voice carries authority. And my journey cannot be canceled by temporary opposition. Let that declaration ring out into the atmosphere, sending tremors into every complacent system that hoped you would stay quiet, hoped you would stay small. Your very energy is a sacred weapon, designed not only to elevate your own life but to ignite transformation in those who are quietly observing, wondering if change is still possible for them. Some people are watching you from afar, waiting to see if someone like them can really rise, really overcome, really create beauty from brokenness. And your life, yes, your life, is becoming the living proof they needed. You are walking evidence that faith can still move the immovable, that love can still heal the fractured, and that a person aligned with their true identity can defy every limitation the world ever tried to stamp on them. So keep walking forward in your truth. Keep vibrating at the frequency of heaven. Keep being the evidence that miracles are not myths but manifestations of divine timing. Be the one who reminds others that God doesn't just prepare a place for you in eternity, He empowers you to bring glimpses of that glory into the present, into this world, right now. Never shrink back just to avoid making others uncomfortable. Your growth, your fire, your clarity may very well require seasons of solitude, but those seasons are sacred. And in due time, those destined for your path will arrive. People who don't fear your strength, who celebrate your mission, and who stand beside you as co-creators of divine impact. And if ever the flame within you starts to flicker, think back. Remember the nights you cried in silence, the days you fought through exhaustion, the moments you prayed not because you were strong, but because you had no strength left. And yet you're still here. And that means something. Each experience you've walked through, whether heavy with heartbreak or glowing with triumph, was never random. It was a precisely placed piece in the intricate structure that supports your divine assignment in this life. Let that truth settle deeply within you, for it serves as undeniable evidence that you have already been armed with more inner resilience, sacred strength, and spiritual stamina than your past self ever imagined was possible. Philippians 4 verse 13 whispers a timeless promise. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. But today, I want you to interpret that not just as an encouragement, but as a divine license to walk boldly into spaces meant for you, to carry a frequency so high it disrupts low-vibration atmospheres, and to bless others even while facing resistance from those who can't yet recognize your light. Now hear this with your spirit. As you rise into this elevated realm of awareness and authority, don't be startled when financial doors begin to swing open, seemingly without effort, but truly as a reflection of divine timing and spiritual alignment. The winds of abundance are shifting in your direction, and Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 reminds us that it is God alone who instills within us the sacred power and ability to produce wealth, not just for personal gain, but to impact lives and transform communities. Your courage to walk upright, to shed layers of fear, to move in faith even when logic hesitates, that unwavering commitment activates unseen forces working in your favor. You become a magnet for opportunities, a beacon for breakthrough, and a vessel through which resources are funneled for divine purpose. Wealth doesn't chase the anxious, it flows toward the focused, those who move in purpose, not panic. This could take the form of an overdue promotion, a divine partnership, a business opportunity that aligns with your passion, or even an unexpected stream of income that finds you right when you need it most. Don't just hope for it, expect it. Receive it with gratitude. Channel it into service. Because when spiritual depth meets financial provision, your life becomes a powerful testimony of what is possible when heaven touches earth. To the chosen ones who feel something stirring in their spirit right now, something too alive to ignore, I want you to acknowledge that inner fire. That's not hype. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You are not simply watching this message, you are standing in agreement with every revelation it carries. You're affirming, this word is mine. This breakthrough is mine. This freedom is mine. As you absorb this moment, allow the old burdens of self-doubt, people-pleasing, and second-guessing to crumble and fall away. Visualize yourself lighter, standing more grounded, radiating an unmistakable glow that only comes from divine alignment. What you feel right now is the release you've been praying for, like taking a deep breath after years of holding it in, or stepping into a room filled with light after living in emotional shadows. Today, I invite you to exhale completely. Let your soul expand into spaces that once tried to shrink you. Speak louder, walk taller, dream bolder. You have nothing to lose except the limiting beliefs that have quietly controlled you for too long. And in their place, you are gaining everything your spirit truly needs. Clarity about who you are, purpose that fuels your path, joy that doesn't waver, and alignment with people who recognize your light and honor your truth. As you walk forward into this elevated season, keep your spiritual eyes open. Don't dismiss the subtle signs. A phone call that feels divinely timed, a conversation that sparks inspiration, a new opportunity wrapped in the disguise of a challenge. God is still in the business of surprises, especially for those who stay anchored in faith and expectation. Let your energy flow freely and fearlessly. Don't let the discomfort of others become your prison. Some people will misunderstand your evolution because it forces them to confront the stagnancy in their own lives. But that is not your burden. You are not called to soothe egos. You are called to step fully into your divine potential. You are too chosen, too deeply anointed, and too aligned with your purpose to allow small minds to derail your mission. Release the need to be understood by everyone. The ones who are meant to walk with you in this chapter will find you, and they will understand without you having to explain. Let go of what drains you. Keep moving in the direction of what grows you. Your light will either inspire or irritate, but either way, it will reveal the truth. So don't just speak with words. Let your actions preach. Let your joy be contagious, your resilience be unshakable, your generosity be transformative, and your success be a silent yet thunderous declaration of what God can do through a surrendered, fully awakened soul. Let your presence itself be a divine message, a walking sermon, a living witness. Now take one final moment to breathe deeply, inhale the truth of who you are and exhale every lie that ever told you otherwise. Step forward boldly, unbothered by noise, and fully available to receive what is already yours. Wishing you clarity in purpose, strength in spirit, and a life overflowing with peace, joy, and divine abundance.